Hey, it's Animal Collector here. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2-panel death card of Fritz Himmelsbach. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So going from the front here, we have a bit of staining, then an Iron Cross photo of Fritz, and then moving down to the text here. In pious remembrance and prayer of my dearly beloved husband and kind-hearted son, brother, brother-in-law, uncle, nephew, and godfather, Oberfeldwebel, Fritz Himmelsbach, a platoon leader in a Luftwaffe Feld Division, bearer of the Iron Cross first and second class and other awards, born on August 9th, 1916 in Steinbach, and fell on August 10th, 1944 in the East. Now, unfortunately, I was not able to find a casualty record for this one. As we discussed in a recent video, I really like Feld Division cards. I find them very interesting. And Fritz card here is very interesting for a lot of reasons. So even though I couldn't find a casualty record, per Volksbund, Fritz was killed at Detoatina in Estland, which is Estonia. The problem is I can't find Detoatina on a map. That being said, I found what might be an alternate spelling, which is Detoatina. So instead of Detotina, we have Detoatina. That only comes back with one hit that I've been able to find, which is a forum post for somebody that was asking about their father-in-law's service during the Second World War, in that he had been wounded at a place called Detoatina on August 6th, 1944, which is interesting because obviously Fritz here died August 10th, just a few days later. And apparently this guy's father-in-law was serving with a penal unit, specifically Luftwaffe Jager Battalion ZBV 2. And from my understanding, this isn't like a normal penal unit, because now generally a lot of people are surprised. The German army did have penal units during World War II. There are a whole bunch of reasons you could end up in a unit like that. It could be disobedience, it could be drunkenness. There's a lot of reasons that you end up in jail. There's a lot of reasons you end up in a penal unit. And what's interesting, though, is that Luftwaffe Jager Battalion ZBV 2 was apparently a penal unit for soldiers who were more valuable than to just be used as cannon fodder. So these were guys that had special technical training or special weapons training, something that made them valuable enough that they weren't just getting thrown into all the crappy assignments that a penal unit would normally get. They were still in a punishment unit, but it wasn't as much of a death sentence as one would expect from a normal penal unit. Now, from what I found on that unit, they did suffer heavy losses, and they were often functioning as a fire brigade. So a fire brigade, firefighter unit. As the war goes on the Eastern Front, what ends up happening is the Germans don't have enough troops to really hold the line, and when the Soviets break through, they're forced to throw these other units into the gap to try to essentially close the line back up. So you have a lot of these units that end up being specifically assigned to firefighting work, basically. They're just rushed from hot point to hot point on the line, and obviously when you're getting thrown into battle like that constantly, you're going to take casualties, even if your lot in life's a little bit better than a normal penal unit. And based off of Fritz's date of death here, August 10th, 1944, he was likely killed right at the very end of the Battle of Narva, which ended around that time. Now, of course, the question is, did Fritz actually serve with this unit? It seems likely that he would have either been with this unit or with another Luftwaffe unit that was operating with them in the area, but without his casualty record, it's impossible to say for certain. Now, if he was with that penal unit, given his rank here and his awards, I would find it very unlikely that he was actually in that penal unit as a punishment. He might have been functioning as an officer in that unit, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But regardless, even if that's not Fritz's unit, it's a really interesting section of Eastern Front history that we're able to talk about from the card, so I thought it was worth including here. Now, moving to the back of the card here. Lord, your will be done, even if I don't understand. Fallen, this horror struck our hearts deeply. Grief and pain will consume us, for you have never returned. You who were beloved and so good had to give your blood. You have written to us so often, don't worry, my dears, until we meet again, but that can no longer happen. So, dear heart, rest in peace, forever mourned by your loved ones. No enemy will disturb your peace anymore. Now the earth of the enemy covers you. Our Father, Hail Mary, and then at the very bottom there, O Lord, give him eternal rest, and may the eternal light shine upon him. Lord, let him rest in peace. Amen. And then my Jesus mercy at the very bottom. And again, we see some of that staining. Also, apparently somebody sold this card for 10 euros at one point, which I think is a steal. I can't remember what I paid for this, but that, for the amount of information we've been able to get out of this, I feel like that's well worth the price. Now, as far as the staining goes, a lot of death cards you find are in pretty good condition. The reason for that being that, they were printed out and given out at the funeral, or they were sent to, family and friends that live further away. And people would generally take those, they put those in a prayer book, and that's pretty much where they'd stay for the next, 6, 7, 8 decades till they end up on the collector's market. But, of course, over time, a lot of those prayer books and things, they end up in basements, they end up in attics, so sometimes they end up getting water damage or other kinds of stuff on them. Now, this has never bothered me when it comes to collecting death cards. I've never been a really big condition guy. As far as I'm concerned, if I could do the research, that's all I really care about. But yeah, really fascinating card. Even though we don't get a lot of extra information about Fritz himself, just the possibility that he was serving with this kind of unusual penal unit and everything that was going on there is just fascinating. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.